you're in a Bugout situation. You've left the city. You're getting away from some sort of a large event. Normally what you want to have is a turnout bag, and a turnout bag is going to be something that you can put extra clothes in so that you don't end up having to run off in the clothes that you were wearing. Maybe get out of your suit, get out of your swim trunks, whatever it is. If you don't have a turnout bag, you're going to have to do everything with your Bugout bag. But whatever you do, at least wear shoes that you can run large distances in. So you're moving out of an affected area, maybe a city that's got riot or bombs, something, earthquake, whatever it is. And you're traveling through a rural area to grandma's house, whatever your final location is. And there's a lot of risk in crashing in places, but there's a lot of abandoned locations that you can kind of sneak along the side, try to go to sleep after dusk and before dawn you get up. This is kind of an example of one I'd like to show you. This is an old abandoned silver Twinkie, and a lot of people want to camp inside it, which you can do, but with the right equipment you can camp on the outside along the side of it as well, or slide underneath it. It's much less likely that someone's going to find you, and if you do have to get up and move, you can just get out quick because you're not confined inside of a structure. So there's a lot of risk when you're moving through areas like this because you're squatting somewhere that you don't belong. If it is a grid down situation, you move at night, sleep during the day. If you snore, that's a problem. What I'm wearing is clearly inappropriate for this kind of travel, but it's literally what I was wearing today, and that's why I wore it. Now, the problem is I got sandals and shorts on. The solution is a turnout bag, and a turnout bag is essentially what firefighters use to change from their t-shirt and pants to their firefighter kit. That turnout bag is going to have running shoes, pants. I have a suit, a flight suit that I leave in my truck to use for working on tools, that kind of thing, right? If you don't have a turnout bag like I don't today, it's all going to have to be contained in your Bugout bag. So this is my Help People gear chest rig. This is where I would put my tactical dinosaur, right? No dinosaur in there, but you get my point, right? Some of the other things you want to keep in this are batteries, solar, a big battery tank for your phone, fire, the type of stuff that if you really get in a pinch, you can drop this bag and run without chest kit, so it's never going to come off. So the things that you need all the time, you need now, you need quick, you put your chest kit in. I've got my Heal People chest rig that I can keep my quick, accessible things in. And I've got an Umbrella stock switchblade backpack. Now, let's go over real quick what I've got in this and why. Right here on the top, I have, again, the quick accessible things. I've got some spare cameras. I've got licensing for some firearms stuff. Got some nutrient survival caffeine and some nutrient survival food up here right up top. I've got lighter, Visine, allergies will kill you, a knife, GPS device, light, and extra ammunition. So some quick stuff that I want access to in the real world. I need these type of things, and in the scenario we're creating, I need these other things as well. One other thing I did to this bag that I really like is I added a Maxpedition IFAK, and I stuck it on the inside so you can't see that it's here. Yes, it's kind of a tactical bag, but I still want access to my medical kit. This is just a shooter kit with some chem lights. It's going to have gloves, tourniquet, compression dressing, that kind of stuff. And then I've got a Ranger beads on the top because pace count, that type of thing. When you're moving, you may not always be able to start with water, but you can almost always find it. And I've got a filter on the inside of this cap here, so I can just take this bottle, fill it in a mud puddle, a lake, whatever it is I need, and then put this filter on and drink it straight. It's super lightweight, compressible, and gives me the ability to gather water on the go.
Tastes pretty good.
I've got a Gore-Tex top and bottom. As you can see, I'm sweating right now. It's probably 80, 90 degrees in here at least, but tonight it's going to be cold. So even in my shorts, if I throw, this is a military issue EWIX Gore-Tex top and bottom, I can put that on top and bottom, and it's going to keep me from physically coming in contact with this rat poop, the wet grass outside, those type of things. So even though it's a hot environment, there's a value to this because it can be a sleep system all by itself. I've also got a jungle bag. Unfortunately, freezing to death is the number one thing that's going to kill you, and when you understand that, you realize that insulation is the number one thing you need in your bag. So I can wrap in the jungle bag and or the Gore-Tex cover and go to sleep right here. I can go on the outside of this trailer, sleep underneath it, somewhere that I won't be seen. Now, another thing I'd like is some sort of camouflage netting. This is the wrong color for this area, but it's perfect for up in the mountains. If all you do is hang this up in the trees between you and the people that would see you, or if you just lay it over the top of yourself, you can grab it and go real quick, and it gives you a very lightweight, out of sight, out of mind type of item. Last thing in here, I've got a ham radio for communications and tactical pea shooter for food and self-defense. And then I've got a headlamp in here as well with quick access. It comes both in red and clear with extra batteries on the inside for when it runs out. That way you can have some light, but not as much that's seen from larger distances. I wouldn't want to camp in here unless I absolutely had to, but being inside of something like this without fire, having enough insulation that I can sleep enough to be able to get up and go again the next day made me the difference between life and death. Some of the most invisible people in society are the homeless. And clearly, I don't look currently homeless. However, that doesn't mean to say that I can't think like a homeless person. What I mean by that is this. Homeless people have a tendency to be able to find the voids in architecture and areas where people aren't going to mess with them. They find the little pockets between bushes on the side of the building and the building. They crawl in there and sleep. They go out along railroad tracks and find bed down places to kind of just be temporary in transit. Even traveling through here, there's a water source that I could grab water from. That looks a little bit too built up, but if this was run down and all beat up, there might be a bunch of bushes. Be a perfect place to hide right between the bushes and the building if there wasn't a dog. So what I'm saying is, think like a homeless person when you're moving through the area. If you really want good camouflage, get an old ratty military jacket and look like a homeless person. A lot of time, they just don't have nice equipment like I'm currently wearing. But if you can find a way to hide yourself in those same voids and just sleep from after dusk until dawn so that you can get enough rest to keep on moving, it ends up being an effective mechanism to move depending on how austere the environment is that you're traveling through. In the military, we have this concept, cover and concealment. Concealment is basically they can't see you. That's all you really need if no one's looking for you and you don't really stick out, something bad happening, you're just trying to move through an area. Cover is stopping of bullets. So with the concealment idea, a lot of times high brush is all that you need. Right here I have a pile of bushes. There is, grass and whatever. There's just a little spot right there that maybe I travel at night and during the day, I can just bed down right here just to get a little bit of shut-eye before I keep moving. So back to my contents. One thing I really like to have that I don't have in this bag currently is a bivy shelter. One of those Gore-Tex shelters that can cover your entire body. And it's really hot, it's kind of swampy, so I don't need a huge amount of heat. But if all I do is throw a Gore-Tex top and bottom on real quick, and Gore-Tex seems like the wrong answer for an environment like this, but all I want to do is keep the bugs and stuff off my body. Another thing to remember is whatever you choose, flat colors are best. Flat gray, flat green, flat whatever, because they're camouflage, but they don't look camouflage. Now, I can take this sleeping bag out. I think it's almost too hot for the sleeping bag, and it's just warm enough that the Gore-Tex will be enough for me to get some kind of quick shut-eye. I would take an unchambered but loaded firearm, stick it on my chest so that I can rack and go, and I unchamber it so I don't accidentally twitch and shoot my arm while I'm sleeping. But I need something quick, accessible, you know, maybe right here, right? Something that I can grab really quick, so if I do get woken up and messed with, I have at least a self-defense mechanism or a get off me type of mechanism that I can use to fight back. Okay, if you can get about 20 solid minutes of rest every 4 to 8 hours, you can continue to move for 3 or 4 or 5 days. It's rough, it's brutal, it's a slog, but I have done it with success. So keep that in mind when you try to do your planning. Socks and boots would be appropriate given my current situation, but again, I'm wearing what I had with me. So now I can use that as my sleeping device. If I think I might get approached from that direction, I'm just gonna slip this over the top of me and then lay right back down here. All I've really done is broken up my outline and covered myself up, so I don't look like a human structure. I look like a bag of potatoes or something, right? And as you can see from this perspective, I can see anything out of this. Like, this netting is super easy to see out of, but looking into it, it reflects light a little bit differently, so it kind of breaks up my structure. So even if I was just sitting right here not moving, I would be able to take a nice little nap. This is actually surprisingly comfortable. If it starts to rain, that's gonna suck. But all I do is just zip the Gore-Tex up over the rest of me and cover myself up. Any of you soldiers have spent nights in situations like this, you have my respect. All right, guys, hopefully this is valuable to you. What other videos do you want to see? Hit the subscribe and like button. Leave the comments down below. Until next time.
Keep going, keep going, keep going.
Like my acting skills.